I was just 8 years old. I was in second grade, and the day started like any normal day. Everything was as usual. After breakfast, my mother quickly nudged us to take a bath and prepare ourselves and brush our teeth and everything. So the school is a good 30-minute drive from our house. We left the usual time, 6 a.m. and everything was peachy until that fateful moment. It happened just like this. My sister and I was just a few blocks away from the school in the cab. We were both seated at the back when it all happened in an instant. I thought I was dreaming. I thought I fell asleep in the cab. I was seated on the right side of the back seat, and I remember opening my eyes slowly. I was looking at the back window, the right back window of the cab, and I remember vividly when I opened my eyes, I saw shards of glass falling on me. I remember hearing it, how broken glass sounds like when it shatters. It was like a movie. Everything was like in slow motion. That's exactly how I felt. It was like slow motion. I turned my head to the left to check on my sister. So when I looked at her, I can see her talking to me, and she was a little bit frantic. The first thing I noticed on her were blood stains all over her white school uniform. I tried to ask her, what is wrong? But, as I said, everything was like in slow motion. So when I tried to speak, I discovered too that I cannot. No voice came out of my mouth. And as I was looking at my sister, trying to ask her, why is she frantic? I felt the pain. It was at that point the most painful thing I've ever felt. The pain was shooting outwards from my right leg. There was another source of pain up here somewhere on the right side of my head. And for the first time also, I noticed that the blood stains on my sister's body did not come from her. It was all from me. She was frantic because I was dripping blood all over my face and the right side of my body. And then that was the last thing I remember. Because after that, everything was a blur. I remember bits and pieces of it. Somebody got me out of the back seat. I was in an ambulance. I can hear the sirens. An equally frantic entrance to the hospital. There were a lot of nurses. I heard myself shouting for the first time. I was shouting and shouting and shouting and crying. I saw one nurse covering her ears like this because she cannot bear listening to my cries for help. I was shouting and crying because of the pain, this time all over my body. The next thing I remembered, my mom was there already. And they were operating on my head. Here. I held her hands. My mom was saying, "Be strong, be brave." After the operation, I dozed off. Passed out, I guess. I was not able to go to school for 2 months after that. About a month later, when I was already recuperating, that was the only time that they decided to tell me what truly happened. Of course, I was aware already that I sustained head injuries here. That's where the blood all came from. And my right leg was definitely hurt. I was not able to walk in that 2 months that I recuperated. One thing that I will never forget was when my mother decided to show me a photograph of the cab that we took that fateful day. Y'all know how a can of Coke, for example, after drinking it all up, you crush it, really crush it. No. That was how the cab looked like. And it's very evident in the photograph that the right side of the back seat was heavily damaged, the most damaged part. What happened was, let's say this is the cab, right? There was another truck that came this way and hit that part of the cab where I was seated, the right back side. And because of the collision, the cab swung around meters away from its original position. When I saw the photograph, I knew right away why my mom decided to show it to me. She said, "It's nothing short of a miracle." I agree. I saw the photograph and I said, "Wow." I said to myself, "Wow, I'm in this camp." So, after 2 months, with my right leg in a cast, I was able to go back to school. And the moment I entered the classroom, there was a thunderous round of applause coming from all my classmates. And, of course, my advisory teacher. My teacher went on to tell me also that my sister was very brave to go to school hours after the accident and showed her the bloody uniform that I was wearing that day as the proof that the accident truly happened. Of course, my sister is the proof in herself. She was stained with my blood all over her too. And that was how all my classmates found out about the accident. And because of that, she said, my teacher said, that they all stopped class and offered a prayer for me. That was my first encounter with death.